What is up, everybody? What's up, Michael? How you doing?
Hey,
what's up, R2?
He's always trying to take the limelight. It's like, come on, man, this is my show, not your show, R2.
See, my R2 is mute. Sorry, yeah. I would have him talking back to your R2.
Gabe, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you, Michael?
Man, I'll tell you what. Good, under the circumstances,
Yeah, how's it going?
We're going on almost 2 straight weeks, and it's crazy how behind the times we are in Texas. But my particular location, I'm still without water, and it's just been like, man, it's just. But the little things in life, you know what I mean. So, but things are a lot better. I mean, we're healthy, we're blessed. So
good.
In the world.
Just here, I was able to get that the first COVID vaccine because of my work, because of the work I do and stuff. Yeah. So that was interesting, going into the little station and getting the shot and everything. Kind of scary at first, but it's also kind of fun. Like they like cheer for you and they have little pom-poms and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Anytime there's a needle involved, I'm running the other way.
And you know what? That's funny because that's every single time I go to a doctor and there's some type of needle involved, they always make like that joke. They're like, "Oh, you hate needles," because I'm all tatted up. So like, "Oh, I'm sure you're fine." I'm like, "No, it's different types of needles. Come on, like, I do not like normal needles just poking me. That's
for sure. I get it. I get it. Hey, collectors, how you guys doing out there? I'm looking forward, Gabe. I've been, golly, exciting. This is our 2nd episode now, right?
Yeah. I'm excited. We got some fun stuff to talk about today. Yeah. We got some people watching Star Wars Español. ¿Cómo estamos todos por allá?
Yes. I don't know what he just said, ladies and gentlemen, but hello, collectors. Welcome. That's hilarious.
That's funny. But yeah, man. So what else? Anything else going on with you? Any new stuff in your collection?
Yeah. There's always stuff trickling in. It's like I'm working on one side, whether it's the vintage side or the studio side or the life size. I've been pretty crazy into the life size stuff lately, and I've done a few videos out there recently on the Gentle Giant.
Oh yeah.
And, I don't know what it is, but I got into the Gentle Giant jumbo action figures, and it's like I got to have them all, like the vintage, the original. Yeah. And I'm almost done. I've got like maybe 3 more to go, and they're. But yeah, so and then now I'm into the Gentle Giant mini busts, and I get a couple things in. I'd be happy to show the collectors out there that are into it, or if they're not familiar with it, or some of that stuff. But yeah, that's.
I want to look. I want to see them. If you have them around, I'll check them out. But okay, we're gonna do that in a little bit. Yeah. A couple of people are saying hi on here, so I want to give them. Caesar M says, hello, everybody. What's up, Caesar? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Caesar? Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Yeah. And Brian, he's tuning in. Looking forward to the show. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Awesome.
And then buddy Joseph is on. What's up, Joseph? How you
Hey,
doing?
hey, Joseph, I know what he's doing. He's working on his Jazz Ink dioramas tonight,
Oh
chilling
yeah.
with a glass of wine. Good for him.
Oh,
Hey,
and hopefully we'll get him on the show sooner than later.
yeah, Joseph's got, as a friend of yours, thanks to you. And that's what's so cool, Gabe, about what we do is
Yeah,
all of the people that we meet. It's like family that we haven't seen, and it's finally we get to see
absolutely.
meet our families, right? But
Yeah,
yeah, Joseph's got a really, really nice gallery that he's been working
yeah.
very hard on and built a brand new gallery, and he's got boxes galore. It's going to take him, he needs probably a group of 30 people to help him open all the boxes.
Yeah. No, I know. He was sending me some of the pictures of his of stuff he's unboxing right now after years of having it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, such crazy stuff. So cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Weren't you telling me that? Like, he told me he's had it for years, and it's like there's only like 30 of them out there. The prop shop Darth Vader, melted Vader helmet, and he
hey,
hasn't even opened it yet.
all
And
right. I'm a little hurt when you guys talk about that because I know you have the prop shop Vader, and I know Joseph has a prop shop Vader,
yeah,
and mine's not the prop shop. Mine's the Master Eddie V2, but
very nice. That Master Eddie is, it's not a licensed deal, but look at it. I mean, you put it
oh,
next to the prop shop one, and that's really nice for sure, and it's
oh,
holds its value, right? But
oh,
for
it's
people that aren't
insane.
looking to buy something, to know they have and hold the value, it's what
Yeah.
the piece is. And there's something about a private collector that builds something custom and sells it to a fan. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Here we got a couple of more shout outs. David Young, what's up, David? How you
Hey, Dave,
doing?
how you doing, David?
And then buddy over in Star Wars Espanol. Uh, he's actually pretty close to where I'm from. I've been chatting with him a little bit, and he's nearby where I was born in Mexico. What a coincidence!
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, okay. So you're saying you have you're collecting the Gentle Giant minibus, right? Which
Yeah.
ones have you gotten in this week?
So it's crazy because you know, just so you know, I'm gonna get right back to that, but I just got to
Yeah.
tell you,
Oh
because a
yeah.
lot of people are like, "How do you get away with it? Because you're married, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, how do you do this? Well, my wife is, and Gabe is really big into Barbie, so we're building her a really nice studio, and she's so humble, Gabe, and has been collecting. She's 47 years old, 48 years old, and beautiful woman, and she's got all these Barbies that are all cluttered up in this
Yeah.
12 by 12 room. And we've been blessed enough to be able to build her a bigger,
Nice.
gallery for her Barbies. So I don't have to answer to her when I'm ordering.
That's a fair trade-off. That's, I mean,
There's, hey, and you know
you're
what?
a smart man.
I'm like one of the three dudes that are walking in the dolls when they have the doll shows. She's with me at the Star Wars celebration, which we're going to get into that. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's so funny because when she's loves going with me to all the celebrations and the cons and whatnot. And when it comes like twice a year, it's a doll
Mhm.
convention, and they've got a
Yeah.
couple of Barbie things set up. And I'm like the only dude walking around in there, looking at Barbie dolls. But it's okay though,
No,
because I'm a man's man, right?
no, the fact that I mean, you're supporting her addiction just like she's supporting yours. So I mean, the fact that you have that support system makes it just much better. I know a lot of, on the forums and on the chat on Facebook, that's like the number one complaint. And actually, that's my number one way of getting out of buying something, right? Because sometimes I'll send like a message like, "Hey man, I'm really interested in buying this." But then I'm like, oh, like, what's my wife gonna say if I buy it? So that's like my way of like backtracking. I'm like, I gotta ask the boss. Let me,
Yeah.
you know.
And
But yeah,
then,
my wife goes with me to conventions too. Nah, she likes them, but obviously she's not as involved in this kind of stuff as I am. But she likes it for the kids and
of
just
course.
being there.
Yeah, and when you guys are all at the mall or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I like this pair of shoes, but I'm not real sure." Babe, get those shoes. You
Oh,
deserve those shoes.
absolutely. I've been doing the same thing. So she's gotten into crafting recently, like, the Cricut it's called Crick Cut machine, and like she puts vinyl through it, and she's making all these little things. And then she's like, hey, I want to buy this 3D printer. It's like $400, $500. I'm like, honey, please I'll buy it for you.
Two of them, babe.
Yeah, no worries.
Help my
yeah, because she feels really bad. And I'm like, if you only knew that I just dropped $3,000 on that Rancor last week.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, we need to talk about the Rancors today too.
We will, yeah, we will, because you know what's going to be interesting is that you got the Sideshow one, right? You're going to get the site, or it's shipping, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny because I was torn because not only is Tom Spina my buddy, but he does. There's nobody out there that touches his work. He's licensed. He's legit. And
right.
The one thing about Tom, I was torn. But the thing with the, when you're looking at accuracy and prop replica, Tom Spina's your man. Regal Robot. But when it came to the Sideshow, and I know all these collectors out there were so torn because a lot of them had deposits, like you did, right, Gabe? You had a deposit now.
I did.
And Joseph, I think. But anyways, I've got him feeling guilty right now too. Joseph, I know right now you're sweating over there. So anyway, I watched a small little Sideshow video, and I think they should have marketed this a little bit different, Gabe, because I think if they would have marketed this thing, because it doesn't state it, but from some of the YouTube videos that I've seen, this thing from Sideshow, the Rancor from Sideshow, it's 1/6 scale. It's pretty dang close, and you could see they've got a video of a 12-inch, 1/6 scale Luke, standing next to it, and that's what actually made me say I want one, right? Yeah. And I think that they could have maybe marketed. I mean, we're the guys that know it all, right? But I'm just throwing this out. I think that if Sideshow could have marketed more of a 1/6 scale, almost like the Dewback.
Yeah.
And where's our Bantha? Gabe, where's our Bantha from Sideshow? Come on, dude. Hey, tell Hot Toys to stand by and build us a really nice
Bantha.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but I think if they could have marketed it more towards the 1/6 scale, 1/6. My humble opinion is it would have been sold out. I really think that.
And we talked about that a little bit this past week, right? Because you'll have the Sideshow one. So I think maybe in one of these weeks, once we both get once I get the Regal Robot one and you get the Sideshow, we'll both show them kind of side by side, and so people can kind of see them next to each other. But what I was gonna mention is that we talked about that scale, about that size,
right?
And you pointed out that video where if you put them next to a 1/6 scale, it actually looks great. And I remember we talked about, imagine having such a cool display with the 1/6 Jabba on top of it, and then underneath it the Rancor, and all dioramaed out. I mean, that would look.
You're killing me, Gabe. You're killing me. I've got only 3,000 square foot in here, and I'm hey, the dioramas take up a lot of square footage. You know what I mean? And
you're working on that new space. You got no excuses, Mike.
I am. Okay. So, but yeah, that'll be really great conversations, for people to see the difference. The only unfortunate thing is a lot of people out there might know when it comes to the Regal Robot is that they only made 83 pieces and they're sold out. So the only luck that you may have is to buy it on the secondary market, correct?
Right. Yeah. If you could find, find them, because I think if anybody's going to drop $3,000 on that, it's probably for keeps. I doubt there's going to be a lot of flippers out there for that, but maybe. You never know. Maybe somebody might get cold feet because of the price, and they're like, $3,000, something came up.
And the Sideshow one, and let's be. I mean, everyone's got different budgets, and I do 100%. But considering the size of the Sideshow one, it's not going to devalue. That's what's so cool about the Sideshow and Hot Toys is, this stuff doesn't devalue. I mean, it's like it always at least maintains that 1.5 times its value, or maybe sometimes a lot of times, depending on what it is, 2 times the value. So, but anyways, so that's pretty cool. But
we'll talk about those later down once we get. I mean, there's enough pictures out there where you guys could could look it up. There's videos on there. Regal Robot actually just sent an update on the like the painting scheme. It sounds like they're going to be shipping them out the next like 2-3 weeks maybe for the.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what I'm sure you're going to do an unboxing. I look forward to seeing that on Proper Replicas. That'll be
Yeah,
really,
yeah. As soon as I get it, I'm gonna
yeah.
immediately do an unboxing on that.
So you had mentioned, so to step back, so you had asked about, some of the things that are coming in. So one of the things, there's a few things I'm excited to show you and a lot of the fans is,
Yeah.
anyway, we'll get into that second. But, the mini busts.
Yeah.
So Gentle Giant's been around for a little while. They're like one of the originals in the collecting world when it comes to Star Wars and the new era of collecting.
Mhm.
And they were recently purchased by Diamond Select. And it's a little bit different, but they're still moving forward and things are a little different. I don't feel the personalization that I felt with Gentle Giant. With Gentle Giant, of course, I flew in and I got to meet with those guys. But so I was going to show you guys. So I've actually got like 20 busts in this week. And one of them is just kind of give people an idea of the scale. So this one right here is going to be a bust right here. And if I kind of give you an idea of looking at my hand, the scale of that, and then I'm going to get you a different one. Hang on one second. So then if we hold Hot Toys up to it,
Oh wow, yeah.
it's pretty much the same, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It looks like it's a 1/6 scale.
right?
Right.
So the thing is I'm trying to keep these things like perfect. Yeah, but like so this is a bust, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of people don't realize the scale of the Gentle Giant mini bust and the detailing is very, very nice.
Yeah, that thing. I mean, those are really nice.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, and then so another one that I got that is really, really cool. Let me show you. Is I love the Ralph McQuarrie ones. Those are pretty cool. And this one's really, really cool. Is the Vader.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
I've seen these on eBay. Like they'll come up on my, on my eBay feed every once in a while. And I always just because a lot of people advertise them like through the box, like showing the box. And I was never really, because when you look at them through the box, they're not really impressive. But now seeing it up close like that, these are really nice.
And you know what's really cool about these is you don't have to have them all. Of course, I'm an addict. Oh, that's right. I'm going to admit it in front of everybody. I'm an addict. Okay. I'm a collector addict. And there's millions of us out here, so I'll stand up in a little bit. But anyways, bottom line is you don't have to have them all. But yeah, so I'm having because I only had like maybe 6 or 7 of them that I really liked. And I love the Stormtroopers. And what's really cool is there's a lot of people out there that are just pro Stormtrooper, right? So you can buy like 3 of the same ones, and some of them come with removable arms, and they've got the one look sort of droids, and they've got the corporal and the sergeant and all the different ones. So it's really cool, but I have to have them all, just like my jumbos. And so I'm having the bad thing about that is because I didn't get them back when they were selling at the 69 to 89, which by the way, they are still coming out with them, but the ones from 2011 to current, it's finding it's fun. But you know what, when you collect this stuff, it's cool if you just like buy one at a time and you get the one that you want and just know eventually you're going to get it. And then on the jumbo side, there's a few, I don't know, I did a video recently, like I had mentioned earlier, on the giant jumbo, and this is the Han Solo and Carbonite. So
Cool.
so I have this one, and it's really cool because it's just like the vintage, you know what I mean? And it shows all of the. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it shows all of the different ones. It's got the large head, the small head. It's got the Han Solo. And it's got the brown snake Yoda, and it's got the vinyl cape and the cloth cape Jawa. So you got to get both of them.
Yeah.
But in the secondary market, of course, it's double the price. But it's the thing is with when you buy this stuff, and I think me and you talked about this earlier, is that when you buy this stuff, you're not throwing money away. At least you have,
Right.
it's
Right.
just money, it's money in the bank, right? But when it comes to collections, Gabe, I don't buy to resell. I don't care about the boxes. I chunk all
Yeah.
that stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. See, no, that's where I get in trouble because that's the whole garage and bunch of closets in my house are just stacked with brown boxes all the way up. And my wife's always like, get rid of these or get a little storage or something for them because yeah, they take up a lot of room. So
yeah. Hey, so what's our buddy Joseph? I don't know if he's going to have to rent out a big,
yeah,
100,000 square
me and
foot
him
warehouse
actually
with all his boxes.
we talked about that. Yeah, we actually talked about that. And I mean, it might have to be right. It gets to a point, especially when like some of the big pieces, right? Like he has the Master Replicas Falcon too. That box is insane, and obviously, some of the prop shop stuff they come in wooden crates, so they're
Yeah, it's
gigantic.
huge. It's huge. Yeah,
Uh,
what's really cool, and because we were talking about Joseph,
yeah,
obviously we're Star Wars fans, but a lot of Star Wars fans are into whether it's into the Avengers, Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, and the Marvel side of things, or might be Back to the Future, or Battlestar Galactica, or I like $6 Million Man and Terminator, and a lot of those other things. Which should I talk about some of the other things that I like to
let's,
do?
if you got some new stuff, and I know what you're talking about because
Okay. Okay.
and I'm gonna have to show this picture. Or do you have it with you right there?
Well, hang tight. Hang tight. Let me tell the story first. So all of our collector friends out there, they do the same thing that me and you do. Everybody goes to bed, they go get on eBay. They start looking for the certain things that they like to collect and then what they're looking for, and then they find something else, and then before they know it, they're like not even they forgot what they were even looking up, right?
Absolutely.
Well, last week, Gabe,
Mhm.
I was just going on. So I love Terminator. So I've got a theater room set up where I keep all my Terminator
Yeah.
collectibles in there. I like to like the half scale sideshow stuff, and I've got that Prime One Terminator coming in where he's in the leather jacket. When he shoots up the
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's got two switch heads. They're behind times, right? They're a little behind schedule on that shipping, but anyway. So I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that brings me back to my childhood in the '80s, and Predator, of course Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, but, Predator. I love Predator, and they haven't really come out with anything, really Predator that's just blown us away, in my humble opinion, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the masks. Sideshow Collector will sell some of the Predator masks, but nothing Arnold like that I've seen them.
Yeah. So, anyways, I a week ago I stumbled across this Predator Dutch. It's so Arnold Schwarzenegger Dutch, and the details. He's a 1/3 scale, and when I saw this, I was like blown away. And the price, they weren't real cheap, but I was like, oh my gosh, and I don't, everyone's got their own thing, statues, right? Whatever it may be. And I don't have a whole lot of premium format statues, but I like them. But with the sideshow and some of them, they're just, the detail is beautiful, but there's just, I like that. That's why I do the life size, because I like the realistic, touchy feely look. Well, I found this Dutch, and he's real. I mean, it's like the only thing is he's 1/3, but he's got real hair. So, anyways, long story short, I was able to get this thing, and it came in yesterday. And let me show you. Let me show
Yeah.
you.
I
Okay.
I mean, I already got a sneak peek at this, but I
Okay.
think
What I did though, so this guy is unbelievable. Sylvester Stallone is as a collector as well of this guy. So here he is. This is Dutch Predator. Look at the details, and I mean it's hard to see in what we're doing right now, but I want you guys to know that you can see the pores in his head, and this guy. I mean, look at me. I mean, this guy is
yeah,
huge. So
yeah,
the one thing that I did just to change it up is, and I'm not finished because I just got it in yesterday, right? So one of the things, I mean, the details is just
I want
absolutely,
to
it's
I want
amazing.
want to share it. So this is
Yep.
the one
Yeah.
you sent
There
me.
Hey, yeah, that's great. Great. So the thing is that what I'm doing right there is I'm changing up the landscape just a little bit.
Mhm,
Okay. And that's so what I did is I took the foliage that came with it that just wasn't as realistic
mhm.
as as the details that come with the actual the guy. So what I did is I changed up the foliage and I added some of the predator blood to it
Yeah.
on the bottom. So what I still have to do, we had our second episode to do tonight, so I didn't have a chance. But excuse me, what I plan on doing is the stitching in the pants and the jacket and the way that what they did on the rifle. So one thing is this piece right here. There's 50 of them.
No. Oh,
So
it's 50. Okay.
yeah, there's 50 of them, and his hair it's real. And the maker of this guy, I believe he's in Brazil,
Hmm.
and he's got pictures with Arnold and whatnot. And like I said, Sylvester Stallone. This guy does all kinds of crazy cool statues. So there's a lot of people out there that are right now wondering where can I get them. This
Where,
one's a little older. You can still find them. I'm just going to tell you right now that they're going from 25 to 3,500 maybe.
geez.
Uh, the newer ones though, they're priced right, I think, for what's involved to go into production to build something like this. Like I said, I mean his hair and the sweat pour. I mean, it's so badass. I
Yeah.
love this thing, you know what I mean?
That's insane. No, I know you're sharing it with me on what is it called? FaceTime. And you're
Yeah.
showing me the hair and like the sweat beads. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
isn't that cool?
accurate.
Yeah, and I'm gonna I don't know if I said this a minute ago, sorry, but I am gonna take his pants and I'm gonna weather them up. I'm gonna mess them up, tear them up a little bit, but again, I don't buy these things to sell them, so I want them to be as realistic as possible. But I want you to know that this artist, and I know a lot of people right now watching this are going to see this that haven't seen it. Like me, a week ago, I didn't know the existence of this piece, and I'm so grateful to have it. It's
My,
actually, you know what? It's crazy, Gabe.
yeah.
This is like one of my favorite pieces that I have now. I mean, I just love this guy. It's so cool. So,
Can
yeah,
I? You're a big Terminator fan. Are you getting this? Let me show you what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Are you getting this? Not that.
Well, negative.
You're not gonna get that?
No, I was just kidding with the baby Yoda
Oh,
thing.
with the baby Yoda. But this thing is crazy. It comes with the little chip, like the microchip.
Yep, yep. So
I'm considering getting this. Just it's such a cool replica of
it's a
the hand.
it's a prop replica, Gabe. Of course.
There it is. And then here's the chip. I wish they sold the chip separate. If they sold the chip separate, I
Yep.
would be 100% on it. And because Terminator 2 is the one that I grew up on.
Right.
In fact, when I was in elementary school and middle school and this movie came out, probably I think maybe middle school I was. My friends used to say I looked like the kid, the Eddie Furlong, because I had my hair was long like that, and so it was pretty funny. But yeah, that piece is awesome.
Isn't that really cool? And so right now, before we get up and go, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are like, "Well, who made it?" You know what I mean? So let me tell you guys the artist's name.
So, yeah,
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
And that piece was limited to 50, but so the artist is his name is Adino, and forgive me if I spell it wrong, but it's Adino Mega is
Okay.
his name, and adinomega.com, and that's spelled EDINHOMAGA.com.
Maybe
And
we'll put a little link in the comments once with this post on YouTube.
perfect. Yeah, and what's really cool, he does, of course, some other ones. I bought it. He's got a Conan
Mhm.
one, and I think those are almost sold out. But there are a few out there. But there's that company that I didn't know about till just recently, which is the MYC guys,
Mhm.
and um, and they sell out pretty quick too. But this guy, I think, is kind of the same thing, but he
Mhm.
does a little. Obviously, he's not doesn't do Star Wars, but he
Right.
does do custom pieces. I just met the guy on today, and I told him, hey, we're going to be on Collection Wars. Come check us out and whatnot. But anyway,
little a little thing.
yeah.
Um, Hey, I know you. I know you were excited about your the Predator one, but your life size probe droid is almost done, and
Man,
you're excited about that. Can I show everybody the picture of?
you can. So I want to give major props out to my buddy Patrick that does the printing on this. He's the guy who's doing all the footwork and the legwork to get this thing. And there's a guy before him that does all the. There you go. This
Saying,
thing's huge. This thing sits almost 8 feet tall.
oh,
That's my buddy Patrick, and he's a super classy guy. And that's who I got my IG88 from. And anybody, if you, by the way, if you guys have questions, Gabe and I are going to be doing a show just on life size props, as well as talking about a little bit on the 3D printing side. And if you have questions on the 3D printing and what goes into the making of this stuff, but yeah, this guy here, he just finished. He texted me today and sent me some pics of the. He's almost done with the fourth leg. There's a total of 8 legs
gee,
on this guy. But yeah, you can see Patrick there. He's a tall guy, man.
yeah.
Patrick's I'm 6 foot. And he's
And that's
definitely he's
coming out
tall, so.
so good. And that's, I think, the biggest thing, because I've seen people 3D print stuff, and
Yep.
I think a lot of the times the lines is what I've noticed that bugs me, because you have to sit there and sand it and bondo and sand and bondo until it gets all smooth. But it looks like his. I mean, I don't know if he's already working it up or if it's printing like that, because that
Yep.
is clean. Like, that is super smooth for a 3D print.
Of course, I'm not a pro when it comes to 3D printing, but when it comes to the type of machine that you have, right? As
Yeah.
time goes on, like remember going from like we talked about beta to VHS to DVD, I mean, a little bit better, but I can tell you, like on the IG88, there was a little bit of prep work, but what's real important on the life size, and of course, excuse me, of the 3D printing things is sure there's lines in it, but what it costs to get something 3D printed versus something that goes into production through a Lucasfilm. Like what I'm going to pay for this thing when it's done, it's not real cheap, but at the same time, it would be quadruple if it was through a Lucasfilm thing. That so what I'm basically getting at is on the 3D printing. Yeah, there's a little bit of work that's involved. Sometimes you do have to put some putty, whether it's Bondo or the wood putty to do it. I got you an 8D8 coming. I just got a life size 8D8, and you'll be able to show them what you're going to be doing. But yeah, isn't that great? So I do plan on. It's great because I got my buddy Mike that does all my studio models.
Yeah.
He's doing a studio Pro Droid for me right now, and it actually has working antennas, lights, and it also, when you walk by it, it has a sensor that goes off that does all the noises and whatnot. And that thing stands probably 2.5 feet. It's a lot bigger than the Sideshow one, which I also, that's a cool one.
How is this? I'm assuming this thing's going to be done within the next couple months. So are you
Yeah.
before your second gallery is finished, right? So you're going to stick it in here, right?
I am, yes. So I do have. So I've got coffered ceilings in here. So in my ceilings are right at 10 feet tall. So it allows me almost, because this thing, we don't have an accurate measurement, but it's pretty damn close to 8 feet tall. And then what I'm going to do is
You're gonna stand it on it. It has to hover above the ground. So I'm sure that's going to be.
yeah, it's going to be. So what my plan is. So this thing, Patrick was telling me it's about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And but excuse me. By the way, when we talk about this stuff in the future, anybody who's interested in this kind of thing, Gabe and I will put this out for you guys. If it's something that you may be interested in, I'd be happy to do whatever we can to get them the information that they might need, whether they want just a bust up or whatever. But so back on this thing. So being 8 feet tall, what my plan is I'm going to do like a cone shaped base of snow. Correct. You know what I'm saying? And I'm having to work on some of the LEDs. So when I get this thing from Patrick, what I do, like when he sent me the IG88 life size, what we have to do is there's a little prep work involved, and my daughter and my little Haley help me, and rewarding things. And what did you do Sunday? I drank a beer and watched the game. What did you do? I worked on my robot. I sent it. You know what I'm saying? I love this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit, but that pride that you get into, the footwork is done, right? You get the base model, and then what you got to do is just the fine touches and do it, the way that you might like it. But yeah, when it's all said and done, it's going to be pretty cool. The only thing I'm going to change up, I think, and we don't know because we're still learning about this. There's only a few people out there that are. I mean, it's like a race to the finish with this life size. But I can tell you for a fact that my boy Patrick, he's almost done. It's pretty cool. So once he finishes that, he's going to deliver it to me in pieces, and then we're going to start from scratch and get all the body work done and go to town on it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand about that. Like, I mean, again, I've built some of this stuff in here, right? The Han Solo, the R2D2. So again, I think you're right. It's such a satisfying feeling to be able to, like, hands on. And with the R2D2, I have pictures when as I was building it with like my kids as little tiny infants right next to it, or inside of. I have a picture. I should have popped it up. I have a picture of my daughter inside of the R2D2.
So man,
I'm building.
So yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off while you're talking. So I was talking to you about a week ago, and we were talking about a couple things. And me and you have great conversations, Gabe, and that's why we have Collection Wars, because we're like, man, and we get all of our friends and our fans and the collectors out there that do what me and you do. It's like, man. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I remember you telling me that you want the Elusive Concepts. Is it Elusive Concepts?
Elusive Concepts, the Han Solo and Carbonite.
Yet you made a beautiful piece, life size.
No,
yet you want an elusive one, and it's like the one that you made. And I know what your thoughts are and everything, but I just want you to know, Gabe, the R2, to build that R2, to be a part of the R2 Builders Club and get all the different referencing that is involved. There's certain things I can admit that I'm not good at, and things that I am good at. But when it comes to like your R2 that you built and the Han and Carbonite, man, it's just beautiful, man. And it's like, bro, you better not take that one out and put Elusive Concepts in there, dude. I'll personally come over there and break it down with a baseball bat. Because you did really good. Seriously, all kidding aside, the lighting on the side, everything that you did. Because I did the table, right? I built just a base table. And that was a lot of work. And in fact, to all the guys out there and the people that go in and build the full Carbonites, it's a lot of work.
It is. But yeah, I've always been, I get really stuck on lineage, and I want it to be right. And no, I didn't even necessarily for it to be, like the brand name right there. That, I mean, obviously a lot of them are, but for me, it's more about the lineage. That's where my immediate attention goes to. So the Elusive Concepts is a copy of the original. So to me, I've always just wanted that Elusive Concept one. There's a lot of work that needs to be put into it, even once you get it, to make it look, pretty accurate. But I think I'm ready to take that dive, and then I'll probably put this guy in my tattoo shop. Just have something cool for.
That would be cool, but you need to put the Elusive Concept ones in the tattoo.
Can I go really quick? We have a couple little comments that came through.
Yeah, good.
Joseph was saying that, and I think this came through when we were talking about the Terminator hand. Sounds like Joseph's got it on pre-order already. So, and it's animatronic, I guess.
Oh, very cool.
Or something, right? And
very cool. Yeah, and I can't wait to visit Joseph's place. Yeah, he's got a brand new, beautiful little newborn baby girl. So he's juggling, and I'll call him in the baby. He's like, I just took the bottle out of the mouth, and yet he's working. On this little stuff. So he's doing good.
Will's saying that he loves what we're doing. Even for such a small audience. And I think that's why we did it, right? It wasn't necessarily about getting this huge audience. It's not. I think we wanted to keep it personal, and a lot of the times we're not just going to be talking about the products and then the stuff. We talk about backstories, and we're going to open up a lot of personal stories, which you'll see today. We got some fun ones today. And then Brian said that probe droid, He really likes that Pro Drive. It's
Oh,
crazy.
very
Huge.
cool. Good.
And then he asked, where do you plan on putting the Grievous? So I think he's talking about the Grievous head back here.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Have you displayed that yet?
So I actually put them in the helmet wall just because, again, it's not a bust. So that's the big difference between this one and the Sideshow piece. You know what I mean? It's a different piece altogether because this is it's a mask, and that's literally how it's advertised, and it's empty. So it's literally just the shell. It's the mask.
So tell me just real quick, and the people out there listening, because I'm not real sure, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
So the difference between like the Sideshow version versus the one that you got over at Disney.
Yeah. So again, this is literally just a mask, right? So it's like a helmet. That's how I would reference it as, right? It's a helmet or a weapon or something, right? It's definitely not a bust.
Right.
The Sideshow piece is more like the C3PO bust that I have, right? Where it's
The eyes and
all sculpted in, and they're all, it looks really nice. I mean, obviously, I've seen pictures of the Sideshow one. It looks a little cheapy, like the inside. Like I wasn't really too thrilled with the paint job that they did on it, but it's an awesome piece because it's all sculpted. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of the prequels or things like that. So it had to be a piece that I was blown away in order for me to stick it in here, because I think I've mentioned it to you that I was trying to weed out all of the stuff that's not original trilogy. So for me to kind of go against my own rule, this thing is so sick. And I prefer this one over the Sideshow piece because, again, the Sideshow piece I would have to display it as a bust, right? I couldn't just stick it in there. And this one I display it like a helmet.
Right. I understand. So do you have, Gabe, I know you've got your helmets and your bust side. So is that how you set your stuff up? So I know you've got your all your different type of lightsabers and whatnot, and then you got all the different variances of helmets and whatnot, and then you have busts, correct?
I have to set like parameters in my mind, right? I think a lot of us collectors have to do that. We have to set boundaries and parameters. Some of us are better than others at it, but in order for me to like keep my sanity, I have to like say, okay, this is gonna be my helmets, and these are the ones that I need, and that's it. And then the weapons, these are the only weapons that I'm gonna collect, and once I'm done with those, I'm done. So on this other wall over here, I'll move my computer over. So on this wall over here is where I'm going to put most of my like museum style pieces. So busts, like the Rancor, once it comes in, it'll go over there. Like, I have the Sideshow Salacious Crumb there.
I love that piece. I don't have that piece. I love that.
So anyway, so that side's going to be more of like my droid and beast collection, you know what I mean? Like kind of the other stuff.
You're looking for the Sideshow Greedo right now. You got your eyes on that one, right?
The Sideshow Greedo, yeah.
That's cool.
I just missed one on eBay too, and it sold for about a little under $2,000, which is great. It's like that's a great deal because that one's been sold out for a long time. And I'm not a big fan of the Sideshow bus. I think the only one that I'm really into is the C3, right? Because they really mess that up. It's like
I get it,
right? But the other ones, like the paint scheme, like the Gamorrean Guard, something like that, they seem too shiny to me. It almost looks like plastic. So I wasn't ever a big fan of them. But the Greedo one, I am. The Greedo one looks so nice, and I want that one.
So. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was like in like 2010, 12 when that was released. Is that right?
It was definitely like the mid 2000s. But at that time, I wasn't collecting busts, and I never thought I would even consider that. At that time, I was still picking up a lot of the lightsabers and the blasters and things. Right. There's more helmets that I was focused on. Yeah. But now I get to kind of sort through. Now that I have my collection, 90% of the stuff that I wanted. Now I could be more picky and kind of go back and think about the stuff that I want to get. you know.
For sure. So when you first started, Gabe, when you first started, I mean, you've been collecting since you were a kid too. I remember us talking about
Yeah.
and seeing that little collection, which was awesome on our first episode. But so when you, as a mature adult, well, we're never really adults, right? But in this era of
Definition of mature.
yeah, exactly. We're none of us are. And it's so funny because I think we're all tuning in and listening in and collaborating together because it's our therapy, right? It's our because we're all freaking out about maybe the monies that's being spent, and it makes us feel like it's okay. It's okay to buy stuff. No, but all kidding aside, it's just sorry, I'm getting off a little bit, but yeah, I just it's crazy how I wanted to know with you is like you started with like maybe the lightsabers, and then you started with the helmets. Where do you want to end up? Like what do you have your eye on right now? Is it the bus? Because I know you've got a bus working with a company that hasn't been revealed yet. But so
Yeah,
where are you going right now, Gabe, in your
I
collection?
think I think my focus right now is Regal Robot, and what they're making. So, and again, and I'm separating them into my own. If they are in their own category,
Of
but
course,
mainly I'm putting them in kind of like the museum style, museum.
for sure.
So I know they announced like a Tarkin bust, right? Like a bronze one. So I want that 100% because
Oh,
that'll
it's gonna be bronze, huh?
yeah. So it's gonna be like a life size Tarkin bust, and obviously I showed you, right?
Oh,
Like
you did.
my
Yeah,
favorite.
I would have never, everyone's like, oh, Yoda, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Luke, and you're Tarkin. I think like there's not many Tarkin guys out there, so that's you're very,
Which okay, so you watch the originals, right? Like
right.
early on, if you think about it, remember that scene where Vader is choking the admiral, and he's like, "You're hopeless."
Release
And then he's like, Vader, release him. And he's like, as you wish. I'm
yeah.
like, dude, that's Vader's boss right there. At that moment, Tarkin is in charge of Vader and is
Put
like,
it at the top, Gabe. You don't mess around. Like, so yeah, on the other spectrum, I'm Yoda. You know what I mean? So that's awesome,
yeah.
dude. That's awesome. Well, I'll still whip your rear end out. Yeah, he, and you know what? He's such a, it's like him and golly, just Tarkin.
Christopher,
What's his name?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Is that who you're talking about?
Alec Guinness. I mean, it's
Oh, I
like,
like Alec Guinness. Yeah.
yeah. These guys are like any actor that were
Mhm.
blessed enough to act with them were like Mark Hamill, very appreciative and like bowed to them, and Sir Alec Guinness, and these are respected actors, and that's
Yeah.
what was
They're
so
like
cool
theater
about
trained
yeah.
actors.
Exactly. And George Lucas, he would what was so cool with what he did is he would cast characters that were never heard of. Nobody ever knew who Harrison Ford was. Nobody knew who Mark Hamill was, which sucks because he was pretty much typecast. But Carrie Fisher, all of them, none of them, were really known, and that's what's so cool is an original. Last night it's kind of like I'm one of those guys that has to sleep with the TV on, guy, and uh, it was really cool. I was up pretty late last night, and I was fixing to go to bed, and on HBO of all channels,
Yeah.
American Graffiti. I was like, "You're kidding me!"
Yeah.
I had to go to sleep watching American Graffiti last night.
It's
There's
nice.
just something about the innocence and the times, Gabe. Damn, you
Yeah.
know, it's crazy.
Hey, Michael. So we which now I guess now let's get back to something we were going to talk about because since we're talking about all the characters and all the actors and stuff, have you met any of the original characters at conventions like at Star Wars Celebration or like Comic Con or anything like that?
It's funny that you're saying that. So
Oh, good night, my baby. Good
this is what it's all about, right there.
night. I
Yeah,
love
girl. Good night. Good night. You know what? That's what it's all about, Gabe. Awesome. Yeah.
you.
God, I've been so blessed to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, um, Steven Spielberg. Oh, that's another story.
Yeah, we're gonna have to save that one. That's a good one.
I got arrested for trespassing at Skywalker Ranch. Yeah, that was another whole deal. But anyway, yeah. So at the conventions that I did, of course, I mentioned to you when we got the Regal robot Chewie that we premiered at Chicago.
Yeah.
I was able to meet. I didn't meet him and shake his hand, which I wish I would have and had the opportunity, which was Peter Mayhew. But it's kind of funny. So Anthony Daniels. So at the end of the night,
Yeah.
there's all the autograph sessions that are going on, and all day long there's linescape. I mean, from here to there to here, and it's like, okay, do I spend all day walking around the convention, or do I spend all day in this one or two lines? You know what I mean? Getting autographs sucks, but it's like, what do you want to do, right? So anyway, I didn't do the autograph deal, but at the end of the night, I saw Anthony Daniels, and everyone was pretty much cleared out. It was pretty much closing time.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife she kind of knows what I'm about. So anyway, I was watching him, and behind where all the chairs were where they were signing autographs, Anthony Daniels, Gabe was there talking to, I guess, the representative who represents him when they're doing the autographs or whatever. Yeah. And when he was leaving, he went behind the black curtain, and those black curtains, you could still see through them, and you could see him behind it, right? You could see their shadow. So I thought this is kind of funny, and I don't want our audience to think bad about me because this is very innocent, but I'm just But I could see his shadow walking, so I left my wife and daughter behind, and I just started walking, and I was walking around, and I could see that he was fixing to leave out this back door that had big old doors where they would, I guess they would just send them out the back into their cars and limos and send them out of there. Well, when he was coming around, I was walking around and there was nobody. It was closed pretty much. So I came around and he went into the bathroom. I'm sorry, guys. If I'm going to meet 3PO, I don't care if you. Now, look, before we go into going into the bathroom, I didn't go into the stall, Gabe. Okay, I didn't go into the stall. So Anthony goes into the bathroom, right? And I follow him in there, and I just go in like I'm washing my hands, like, and waiting for him over there. And no, I'm just kidding. He's not there. But anyway, he's just going to the bathroom, and he comes around to wash his hands, and I'm still washing my hands for like 30 minutes, right? And he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, pretty good." Like I didn't even know, but it's
Right.
Yeah, and he was. I didn't go to shake his hand and make him feel uncomfortable in the bathroom.
Yeah, of course.
But I just mentioned to him real quick that hey, because he did the traveling orchestra, like the John Williams type of Star Wars, and he did the front work on that, and he did a fantastic job, talking and whatnot. And so I just brought up, hey, I saw you back in Texas, and you did a fantastic job, and he was right. He actually went out to shake my hand and everything.
Good. Nice.
That was the last thing that I had of him. And then it's funny, since I'm talking about it, I've got this 3PO head right here.
Yeah.
That I wanted him to sign in the next celebration, but I wasn't able to do it because of COVID. You know what I mean? But that's my experience of meeting him, and of course the kid that played the young Boba Fett. I know him well. He's super cool, classy kid.
Yeah.
He was telling me stories once about riding in the golf cart with George Lucas when he was young and stuff. Really cool story. And
I was gonna actually, now that you mentioned that, I was gonna bring that up because I met him too. I think it was last.
Who did you meet?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Daniel Logan. Yeah.
Funny, I just brought that up to you, but
I didn't even share this with you. Like I didn't even. I wasn't. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm in the truck accessory business. That's how I make my living. And he loved trucks. And when I met him for the first time, when he was doing a convention in San Antonio, I met him and he like blew off all the autographs. Walk out with me to talk trucks because he had a Toyota pickup truck.
Yeah.
He was asking me, about suspension lifts and stuff. And then, but what was crazy is 2 years later at Celebration, he remembered me. It was crazy.
Oh, nice.
He didn't know me by first name, but of course, he's
Yeah. No, and yeah, he was super nice, super humble when I met him. He was just like, yeah, of course. And he like took a picture. So like, you know how you were mentioning how you you were trying to play it cool with Anthony Daniels
don't tell me you met him in the bathroom too.
so no, so I met him briefly here, and I'll show you. I have a picture of it. So I met him briefly at the Star Wars Celebration, 2016, I think it was. The problem is that so I was in line, right? We were in line waiting, and I see him coming out with the security, and I'm like, I can do this, like because I was on one like behind one of those stanchions.
It
So I
looks
was
like they were together.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take a picture with him. Well, I didn't know like how he would react, and I was a little more forward. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna take a picture. So I grabbed my phone and I tried to take a selfie. I don't think he was very happy about it because they obviously charge for for photographs and autographs like that.
What celebration was that at?
This is the Anaheim one, 2000. I want to say 2016.
Gotcha. Man, I wish I could have met you there, Gabe. That's cool. I was there.
Oh man, I know. And it's funny because we always talk about about conventions and stuff like that. And that's I have a funny story which I guess we could start talking about conventions, right?
Yeah.
With Joseph. So Joseph had been following my YouTube channel, like the Star Wars replicas, for a little while.
Yeah.
And the last Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, which is 2019. We were there, and I'm in line to buy something. I think like Entertainment Earth, and Joseph comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you're Gabe. I just want to introduce myself. Like I've been watching your channels. Your setup, and I always watch your unboxings." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." But my family was with me, right? And my family always kind of pokes fun at me because the YouTube, they're like, "Oh, go do your YouTube thing." Oh, and it's my hobby, and they joke around. Yeah. So when Joseph came up, I was like, and I introduced him to my wife and things like that, and I met his wife, but and probably Joseph doesn't know this, but it's when he left, I like turned around to my family and I was like, "Oh yeah, what's up? Oh, who's got a celebrity dad that people recognize at Comic-Con?" So we all got a little laugh. So later down the line, I'm over. I go talk to Tom. Right, Tom Spina has a Regal robot booth. Actually, I ended up taking a picture. So that's me with Tom and Gordon. So I go over there and I'm talking to Tom and Gordon, just about just Star Wars, and I was actually trying to convince them to sell me the Tauntaun that they had on there. So I was like, I don't want to wait for shipping. Can you just sell it to me? Which he did. He ended up selling me the display one. But what's funny is that somebody came up to me, right? And my family was right behind me. Some other person came up to me and was like, "Hey, I know you from somewhere." And I like turned to my family like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. It's another one."
I sign that autograph real quick.
Right. And then the guy's like, "No, I was on your jury panel for this one jury trial." Because
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm a trial attorney, so I do jury trials.
Yeah.
And, I ended up being one of the jurors in one of my trials. So even Tom was like, "Wait, what's going on? Wait, you're an attorney? What?" Like it was just everything was so confusing. My wife's cracking up because I'm over here like thinking I'm like, "Oh, people are recognizing me at the convention," and it just ended up being a juror in one of my jury trials.
Yeah, but out of all that, you met the gentleman Joseph, and now you guys are friends.
Yeah, no, now
me and Joseph are friends, and there's a reason for how things work out, and I look forward to everybody meeting Joseph. He's a really good, humble.
Yeah, and we're gonna get him on here.
Oh yeah, and then but Tom. Man, doesn't he make you feel like you are? I mean, when you walk up to his booth, I mean, he treats everybody the same, and he's genuine. He's just a good-hearted guy, man. And I think there's a lot to say about Tom. He's worked his ass off with his people over there at Regal, and
well, I mean, you had a kind of similar experience with Tom, right? At a celebration with the Chewbacca thing, right? Like he kind of accommodated you to to getting the Chewbacca there, right?
Yeah. So what it was is actually so with the Chewy, when we decided what we were going to build, we wanted to do something custom. I wasn't sure, and then when we decided what we were going to do, I told Tom, "Hey, Tom, what we could do is with the celebration before you send it to me to help you out. Why don't we premiere it at Celebration, and then from Celebration you can simply drop ship it and kind of the same story, And it worked out to where, they worked on that, Celebration that was a hit for them,
Yeah,
and he had sold and at that where they had the life size, they had the bust there. And then,
yeah.
I think by the end of the show, if I'm not correct, all 50 of them were sold out, and I'd like you bought the Tauntaun at the show, and I told him just to put it in a crate and ship it with that.
Shipping together.
But yeah, it was funny because I think I might have talked about it with you. We've done a couple conversations, but I was able to get, to
Mhm.
have signatures and stuff done. But when
Yeah.
I showed up to Celebration, trust me, man, I'll tell you what, Gabe, I was waiting for 8, 9 months for Chewy, and he would send me these little sneak peek shots. And what was really cool was the collaboration that I had with Tom. We were
Yeah.
able to collaborate, and he's like, what do you want? So I was able to say, this is the stance I want. I want him roaring. I want him pissed off because he didn't get his medal. Nah, but anyway, so I kind of showed him a picture on the
Yeah.
film, and voila, I got that.
There it is. No,
Yeah.
I've had a similar experience with Tom too, because like I said, they're working on a custom piece for me, and yeah, same thing. He's very open, and he keeps you involved in the process too.
Yep.
So it's a great thing.
Yep. And I think we're going to have Tom on in a few episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to have him talk about what they do and whatnot. But
No,
yeah,
I want him to talk about because as you know, like I collect screen use props as well. Like I have several screen use props, and obviously he's already pretty big in the Star Wars world, but in the screen movie prop world, he's a superstar because they do all the restoration for the original props and stuff. So I mean, I'd love to have him, talk about some more of that stuff.
yeah, he's willing to talk. He loves talking. Man,
Brian says,
you
"Can I
never,
share?" So
you
So
know,
Brian, I can't because a lot of this stuff when you work with Regal Robot, it has to go through Lucasfilm because they're licensed products. So they have to get like Lucasfilm final approval before all that stuff. So it's hush hush until it's finally approved by Lucasfilm. So, but as soon as I'm able to, trust me, I'll let you guys know, and I'm sure I'll do an unboxing review and all that.
yeah.
Hey Michael, I had this little story that I wanted to share with you because we were talking about conventions. So it involves my daughter. My daughter is actually funny enough because how I was talking about how I felt all good because Joseph recognized me at Comic-Con. Well, my daughter is actually a little celebrity when it comes to cosplaying at Comic-Con and conventions. And I don't think I've shared this with you to the extent that I'm going to right now, but
I don't remember seeing it all actually.
so check this out. So my daughter, so we started going to, Comic-Con and celebrations, and, we go to all those things. But when my daughter was born, I immediately was like, you know what, I'm gonna dress her up. And we dressed her up as an Ewok for that celebration, right? Now you collect vintage. Do you recognize the pink shawl thing that she's wearing?
Are you asking for like the character name or?
Oh no, the old toys. So do you remember? So Kenner came out with these plush Ewok dolls, and it was like, but from the series. So it was like Wicket. It was the girl. I don't know their names, but the girl and all that. So that's actually a vintage stuffed animal shawl that we just took off the vintage stuffed animal. Just put it here, and it just worked out perfectly.
So is that you and your wife and your baby?
No, that's not us. No, me and my wife don't cosplay. Like,
Okay, so who are the other? They just happen to be at the show.
yeah, they just happen to be at the show. Now this is me and my wife right here, feeding my baby to the rainbow, to Roxy.
Hey, it looks like she's actually wanting to hit you in the head with that
I
thing.
think I think that's probably what she wanted to do. She's like, I'm feed my baby to the Rancor. Um,
That's
so
awesome. Hey, y'all's family story, like how you got started in this, the whole YouTube sensation thing was
yeah,
you and her getting married at Disneyland.
at Disneyland, yeah.
Oh,
So
look at
check
that.
this out. So then after that, we started taking my daughter to every convention, and after that, we would dress her up. So
Like,
this is I think from 2000, I want to say 2015 maybe, Comic
beautiful.
Con. So I dressed her up as Marty McFly, had her with the hoverboard, and she was a hit. I mean, people were like stopping to take pictures with her. And the good thing about my daughter is that she's such a little ham that she just loved it. She loved the attention. She loved it. So that
That's
was day one, right?
who told us good night, right? That's who told you good night, Daddy.
Yeah. No. That's my little one. This is
Okay,
my
okay.
middle daughter. Yeah. So then the next time we dressed her up the next day, because we went, I think 4 days that Comic Con, we dressed her up as Harley Quinn, because that's when that movie was popular. And again, she's seen a little baby dressed like Harley Quinn, and it was like the height of that costume. So like all the girls dressed up as Harley Quinn wanted to take a picture with her and all that. But this is where it gets interesting, because on day 3, we dressed her up as Chewbacca,
Oh my
right?
gosh. Where did you
And
get that outfit? Where did
so
you get
my
that?
mother-in-law actually made it for us.
Oh
So
my
she worked
God.
on it, and then that bandolier is from Disney World. It's just like a pin set thing. So this is my daughter, and she obviously, as soon as we got her into the convention hall, and now this thing is it's a warm costume, obviously, because it's fur. So we couldn't put it on her until we were actually inside air conditioning, that. Once we put it on, people went nuts. And then this picture, right? I posted it on social media, and all of a sudden, this picture ended up going everywhere. It was all over the internet. It was just like nonstop. And it was like the cutest, baby and this and that. And then check this out. Then we got Peter Mayhew tweeted out my daughter's picture that day. So you can only imagine, because I started getting all these text messages from
That picture,
friends and family, and they're
that's
like,
beautiful. Tell me
yo,
about that in a big frame somewhere in your house.
we need. I mean, I haven't printed it out and put it on there, but trust
You
me,
gotta do that. You gotta.
100%. So Peter Mayhew tweets this out, and me, I'm just in shock. I was like, what? No way, Peter Mayhew. And as soon as he did that, forget it. It was all over the internet. All of these other accounts were tweeting her. They ended up doing a little like spotlight on her and her costumes on that Ashley Eckstein's website, the Her Universe. They did a whole little spotlight. It was just insane. And you can imagine, for me as a Star Wars fan, to see my daughter like as Chewbacca just all over the internet. My wife wasn't too happy. She's like, I don't want her all over the internet. I was like, hey, relax. Like, look, it's Peter Mayhew tweeted her out. Like, this is insane. So then after that, look at, she was on the news. This was the next year after that.
Wow.
So the next year she was recognized. People would literally stop us in the middle of the convention. It was like, oh my God, it's the little Chewbacca girl. Can we take a picture with her? We couldn't go past like a few steps without somebody stopping us to take a picture. They had her on the news. Like,
does she still remember? Does she still remember? Do you keep it going or no?
I mean, the last time she dressed up as Chewbacca was, we were on the Conan O'Brien show. Do you remember the Conan O'Brien show where they did the 20 Wookiee roar salute? I don't know if you watched it. So Conan O'Brien does a special show every Comic Con, right? And on 2019, I think, 2019, he did one where it was Chewbacca. I might look it up right now and I'll show you guys. But they picked my daughter for that. So I actually was the Chewbacca right behind her, and they just let me borrow a costume just so she wouldn't go on by herself. But so she was on the Conan O'Brien show as Chewbacca.
You never told me this, buddy. That's
I know. That's why I was gonna save it for. I wanted your reaction, but
that's so awesome. How old is she now?
She's 6 now. So she's a little bit older now. But
Sucks there hasn't been any conventions to keep it going, because of all the
exactly, and 2020 hit. But I think the height of her costume was the Conan O'Brien show, where she kind of, that was her moment of fame, of glory. And that. But check this out. So then that same year, 2017, we're like, there's no way we can top this, right? We dressed her up as, who had you ever watched the show Stranger Things? The little girl from Stranger Things, 11.
dude, yeah.
So day 2, we dressed her up as 11, right? Well, check this out. All of a sudden, her picture went viral because the little girl who plays 11 tweeted out her picture.
Wow.
So she did it again. She went viral a second time.
That's
so that was
awesome.
The Chewbacca one, but she went viral and she tweeted her out twice. So
Wow.
I was just in shock again because my daughter was all over the internet with the costume. So
and you're going to be her future agent, which you're going to right?
Oh, and that's I think the cutest part about Kennedy and the way she sees me doing, my YouTube stuff, and she sees, what I'm doing. And it's so cute because she's the only one that she's like, Daddy, I want to do a channel, and I want to do unboxings, and it's super cute that she wants, she likes that
You need
connection.
to bring her on. You should have had her when you did Baby Yoda, right?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was going to do like a review when I had all the Baby Yodas, and I was going to have her do because she has every other Baby Yoda.
You got to do it. It's crazy. It's like the Baby Yoda thing, man. I'm so over Baby Yoda, man. I just Baby Yoda out. Even the Sideshow Baby Yoda, it's like I don't even know what to do with that thing. But it was cool, and I loved it. And it'll come back and all. But I don't know. It's just
right now everyone's still battling it out. What's the Hot Toys one or the Sideshow one?
Yeah, for sure. But they're cool to have, of course, right? But
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I have the Sideshow one right up there, and I mean, again, for me, it goes back to lineage, right? I want that connection to the original, and the Sideshow one has that because
because you went the extra mile and got rid of all the pink cheeks and all that stuff and made it just that much more. But yeah, I think it was just such a rush for Sideshow to get it out there, that's why they didn't have all the arm articulation and all that stuff.
It might have something to do with the license too. There's some legal issues regarding licensing where if it's articulable, it becomes a different license rather than a statue. So I think there's probably some legalities there.
Man, see, that's stuff that I've just learned from you. If you're an attorney, I don't know.
But yeah, I wanted to share that story.
She's adorable, brother. That's awesome, man. And it's so cool that I never knew any of that till you just now surprised me, guy.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So now we're just waiting for the next convention, right? When this whole COVID thing kind of dies down. I'm hoping to see you at the next convention, and some of our buddies that we keep in touch with,
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to come and hug you and your family, and you're just super classy, along with, like you just said, with all the people that I've been able to meet through this channel and the other channels that we've done. And it's just, it's so much fun, Gabe. I'm so blessed to be able to do this and be able to talk with you, and I'm proud, and I appreciate the people that take the time to spend time with us to listen, and hope that we do something to inspire them in some certain way. And please, whatever you guys do is our audience listening out there, look at that.
There she is. There's Chewbacca. I just showed him your pictures and your comic convention stuff.
Hey, do you remember me, beautiful? Yeah, I told you good night the other night, didn't I?
Yeah,
Is it almost bedtime?
No, not bedtime.
No, I'm gonna decorate for my sister's birthday.
When's her birthday?
Tomorrow.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
All right, we'll go decorate. I'll help you guys in a little bit.
Good night, sweetie. Blessed,
All
bro.
right.
You're so blessed. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about.
a
So,
100%.
yeah. That's
But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll all see each other, at the conventions coming up. Something, get together and have some drinks and hang out and
for sure. I think everybody's just tired, from, when it comes to, the election stuff and then, the COVID crap. And then, down here in Texas, I still have no water. I'm getting ready to, I'll tell you what, man, I'm getting ready to head up your way, dude. I mean, not being without water. I mean, people don't understand, what it's like to, have to go to the bathroom and not being able to flush the toilet and what's involved. It's like you got to plan going to the bathroom, and our poor wives, so it's like, damn.
Well, when you come out here, I'll make sure to take you to In and Out. We've talked.
Yeah, and when you come down here to Texas, I'll be happy to take you to Whataburger. I love In and Out though, dude. No, yeah.
Oh man,
Funny. We're gonna have a war on that. But yeah,
I know, right?
for sure.
Well, Michael, we went past the hour, which we every time we figured we would do, right? I mean,
Yep. So I think, but before we cut out of here, to first say to the viewers that are viewing right now, thank you so much for taking your Saturday evening to spend with Gabe and I, and um, I hope you guys are going to stay tuned for our future episodes that are going to air live on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central. Correct, Gabe?
yep, 7
And,
p.m.
and some of the things to look forward to. We've got some upcoming episodes that are going to be involved with vintage, talking vintage. I think that's going to be one of our next episodes.
I can't wait for that one. That's going to be exciting.
Yep, our good friend. My good friend Kurt Kuhn from Modeler Magic, so we could talk about studio scale models and whatnot.
Yeah.
Also, we've got a few others. Obviously, reached out to Tom, and Tom's, just need to meet with his schedule, and he's happy to tune in with us and talk with us about a little bit about what's going on with Regal, and a lot of other things. But I invite any of you viewers out there, if you have any questions, if there's certain things that you want to see. Or you have certain questions on certain topics that Gabe and I talk about, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'll do the best we can.
Absolutely.
To get back with you guys. So.
Absolutely. Well, we got some people here saying that. Juan says, "Proud Papa Gabe." Thank you. Yeah, I am.
Tell him gracias for listening.
Well, no, Star Wars Español says, "Thank you, guys."
Yeah.
And then Brian saying he loves what we're doing. Keep
Awesome.
up the great work. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate that. And Joseph over here says, thanks, guys. Joseph's tuning in while he's working on his jazz dioramas.
That's going to be a cool thing too that we'll talk about when Joseph, when we get him on. And again, he's a humble dude, super cool, and we can talk more than just Star Wars. He's into the Avengers, and this guy's got an amazing collection. He's Back to the Future, Star Trek, Blade Runner. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of different items out there that I never knew that he was in, and it's just the way he's taking his time and doing it. There's nothing more exciting than being able to create your gallery and finally be able to set your things up. And that's with mine. It's able to.
I'm hoping we could convince him to show some pictures as he's working his gallery, because it's a beautiful space, and he has such an extensive collection that I want to see it kind of from the ground up, which we're lucky enough to know him right now as he's building up his studio. But I mean, yeah, his gallery is going to be insane. And
when we talk about the collection wars, one thing that I want you viewers to know is, Gabe and I, when we met, it was because we're into the gallery style collection of things and how to design things. Gabe inspired me so much when I met him on how he set things up, and he's so humble and just loves talking Star Wars and the replicas and how. I mean, what you've brought to the table, Gabe, on education to people on how to display and give them ideas, and that's what we want to do, right? Is inspire these people on how to set up collections and how to, do things their way, and not don't get discouraged if you don't have it all, because it doesn't matter.
And then that's the great. And we talked about that last time. Like there would never be a situation where any of us would put down any collection. And I'm talking about like I'm on TikTok, right? Like TikTok, right. And it's a very like young base, and I happen to have quite a bit of followers on TikTok. But funny enough, I always get people sending me like their own little TikToks, and sometimes it's literally just their little like their Lego pieces. And I love it, man. And I encourage them. Like I love the fact that they're taking their time to display what they love, because that's what I'm talking about. It's not about the actual content. It's not about the piece itself. Yeah, the piece itself might give you like some there's some meaning behind it, right. But it's the fact that you're taking pride in displaying what you love, and that's the part that's amazing to me. So even if it was just one or two or three single pieces that mean a lot to them, but they display it nicely, they take pride in display. I mean, that goes way farther than anything we can do. So
yeah, you can have a $1 million collection, but it's who's behind the $1 million collection.
Yeah,
that says it all. I look at a person that has $10 in Star Wars and $1 million in Star Wars. I know a lot of people, Gabe, in this industry, and I'm so humbled, and thankful, and I've worked hard like you have, and so many people out there listening in that's worked really hard to do, and it just so happens this is what their hobby is, and it is what it is. But the bottom line is the love that you and I share, and all the people chiming in share, and that's what's going to completely grow. And I want you to know, Gabe, you and I both know where this channel is going, brother, and I'm very excited about it. So
yeah, no, so am I, man. I'm really happy we're doing this.
And to have Gabe as my sidekick, bam! I'm so excited about you too, brother. You're my boy, dude. You're my boy.
I appreciate it, and again, there's some funny stuff behind the scenes going on too. It's like with our name, like the collection wars, but we won't get into it now. Yeah. I have one final comment. George Ortiz says, "Good show, guys. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate that. We appreciate that."
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you take a Saturday out to watch our deal, and if you can't make it Saturday, you can watch the
if you comment on there too, like especially if you want to see like Michael said, some other stuff, because you, again, a lot of times you don't get to see the whole shebang here, and right. Especially Michael, I mean, he has such a extensive collection as well. So if you want to see something, let us know in the comments. That way we could, on the next show, we could take a little time to show you guys.
To address it for sure.
Cool.
Hey, man, thank you for your Saturday evening. Guys, chiming in, collectors, gals, thank you so much for chiming in. And man, Gabe, I look forward to our next meeting, brother.
Same here. And thank you guys for everyone tuning in and everyone watching afterward. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, share it whenever possible. And again, just leave us whatever comment or feedback you want to give us, and then we'll be happy to address it. But thank you guys.
Absolutely. Good night.
All right. Good night, Michael. I'll see you next week.
Buddy.
Or tomorrow.
Oh yeah. You got another one going.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.